fifth, seventh, eighth night. But he was very, very exhausted. And then finally, after he could not tolerate that, he went to sleep on the eighth night. But after then, we noticed that there were many, many effects happening to his life. His emotion, his thinking process, or his important decisions in work and life caused him a lot of problems. Finally, he changed his job frequently. From being a famous a radio host, he has to quit that later because of some problems at work, about his talking, or many, many other issues. And also his personal life. He had a couple of divorces. He broke up with his family very frequently. And then finally, in his late life, it was not that pleasant at all. So this is the first example of what can sleep deprivation can cause some effects to your daily life or your brain. So this is the first one. Now, more interestingly, the second person here, his name is Randy Gardner. When he was 17, this was 4 or 5 years after Peter Tripp. Peter Tripp said it at eight full days without sleep. But Randy Gardner, a 7-year-old student, he set a new record. He broke Tripp's record by 3 days. That means that he spent 11 days without sleep at all, about 264 hours. But in Randy, he did not have many problems. He just got fatigued, a bit tired, thinking a bit slower, some moody problems, but actually his life was not that bad. After he finished the Guinness record of 11 days, he can still do things almost normally, and he lives his life fine. So you can see that these two persons having sleep deprivation for 8 days, 11 days, both have totally different outcomes. Okay, so this tells us something, that sleep is something that is quite individualized, but we know right now that in general, as I think you all know, that sleep is very important. So when you don't sleep for a long while, it definitely can have some effect to your body and mind and brain. But the interesting point is that why Randy Gardner, the 70-year-old student, he didn't have so many effects as Tripp has, or most other people have. So we point this to maybe some genetic part, which we will talk later. I'll talk about this later. At first, we didn't know much about genetic problems in sleep, but later we know more and more. We know 1 gene, 2 genes. Right now, we know at least 5 or 6 genes that affects our sleep. Okay, so we'll go through that later about the new technologies in sleep. Okay, at first, the most important question that when I give talks about sleep, most people ask that, what is the amount of sleep that you need per night? From this graph, from the Natural Sleep Foundation, you can see that sleep amount varies from age. Just like newborn or in very young kids, they sleep almost, newborns, they sleep almost all day long, right? 17, 18 hours. And then when they grow up, they sleep lesser and lesser, and then it would be quite stable when you're a teenager, right? You sleep at around 8 hours until adulthood. And when you get older, when you're over 50 or 60, then you might sleep lesser because you have fragmented sleep. You feel that the sleep cycle, the sleep control in your brain might be a bit aged, so it cannot control your sleep whole night long. Sometimes you wake up frequently. So in elderlies, actually 6 or 7 hours sleep is not something unexpected. So this is a normal recommendations of sleep that is the best for each age group. I'd like to talk about recent research as well about sleep hours. There's recent researches in the past decade that shows that if you ask about one magic number about sleep, how many hours should you sleep? The answer is 7. Let's say 7. People talk about 8 to 10 or 7 to 8, but now we know that 7 is the best. But okay, 8 is okay, 6 is quite okay. If lesser than 6, that's not good. So still around 6 to 8, but if 7 at least, that would be perfect for most people. Not just about the hours of sleep, but the timing of sleep is also important as well. I'll talk about this later. That okay, if you sleep 7 hours, but you go to bed at 2 a.m. and wake up at 9, that's 7 hours, right? Is that okay? The answer is no, it's not okay. Okay, we'll talk about that later. That why is that? Now, this slide will tell you that what happens during sleep. Most people think that when we sleep, we're just resting our body and brain, right? So we give your brain and body a break, quite a long break, 6 to 8 hours, as I mentioned, and then you work all day long and then rest for another 6 to 8 hours. Many hundreds of years ago, we thought that sleep is your brain and your body is not doing anything. It's just resting. Everything cools down, right? You breathe slower, your heart rate is slower, your temperature, your body temperature goes lower. But actually, okay, that's what you see in your response from your body. But what really happens during sleep is there's a lot of things happening during sleep, especially about building up your immunity, about surveillance of some abnormalities in your body, especially cancer cells, or most importantly, it clears out the waste product during daytime. When you use your body, use your energy at daytime, you have a lot of metabolisms in your cells, right? All millions of cells in your body. So when your cells has metabolism, there are some waste products. And these waste products mainly are eliminated or destroyed during sleep. So when you sleep, it's like cleaning up your system. So that's one major part of why sleep is very important. If you sleep not enough, there's not enough time to eliminate these waste products. And these can be toxic to your body or cells.
Excuse me, we can't see the presentation anymore. Can you reshare, please?
Okay, just 1 minute. So they can see the slide. The audience cannot see the presentation. Yeah, can you see it now?
Yes, now we can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so these are what happens. Okay, I'll go first, but you can hear me well, right? Okay. So it's about eliminating waste products, and it also helps to boost up your memory. It helps about emotion, about to cool down, to make everything in balance, about mood, emotion, brain, memory, and also eliminate the waste products during daytime work. You can see here we reduce heart rate that I mentioned already, because your body is not working that much, so the heart rate can slow down. Your heart has a little rest. Cytokines is about your immune system. Natural killer cells are working quite a lot at that time, because they look for abnormal cells for cancer. We'll talk about sleep and cancer on the next slide. Regulate insulin. Okay, this is about controlling many things. Insulin is not just about blood sugar, but it's about many aspects of your health. If we have time, next time we can talk about the insulin if you wish. Regulate leptin and ghrelin. Leptin and ghrelin are hormones that are associated with hunger, and when you feel full, you don't want to eat anymore, right? There must be balance of this, because when the hungry hormone comes up when you need energy at daytime, and when you get sleepy or drowsy in the evening, the full hormone comes out to make you full, and you don't want to eat anymore. People who stay up late at night has a very, very high tendency to be fat or overweight. I'm using the too rude word fat, I'm sorry. should use overweight, right? Because I'm one of those. When you don't sleep well or your sleep cycle is ruined or disturbed, you go to bed too late at night, then the full hormone doesn't come up, but the hunger hormone is still there. So that's why when you watch TV or watch such as Liverpool last night at 2 or 3 a.m., you have a chance of feeling more hungry. I mean, not more hungry, but feeling hungry. Well, at that time, you should fall asleep and your brain tells you you're not hungry. Otherwise, if you're hungry, you should wake up in the middle of your sleep, right? But we don't wake up for eating because of these hormones that keep balance. But you stay up at night, then you can feel hungry and you find some snacks, and then that affects your weight, right? Okay, so I'll talk about cell restoration, repairing process already. So these are what happens during sleep. So you can see that there are plenty of things happening during sleep, which helps overall about your health. So this is a summary. Can you see this next slide? Okay, yes, you can see it now. So these are the main impact of unhealthy sleep. You get old easily. You get older than you should. I'm talking about too many rude words. I'm sorry. Fat, old. You get senior. Let's say you get aged, because when you don't eliminate waste products enough, it would be too much, and then it can destroy or make your cells not working that well, and then your cells die earlier. Each of the cells die earlier, something like that. So getting old again, getting aged more than your real age is one consequence of unhealthy sleep. And the mood problem, fatigue, that's, of course, everyone knows. When you don't rest enough, the next day you feel fatigued or your mood is not that good. Your cognitive impairment happens because when your brain hasn't rested enough, about decision making or thinking process will be too slow, or sometimes you make wrong decisions because your brain is too tired to think of something in deep details. Cancer, heart disease, also because about the repairing process, as I mentioned, that is not working well if you don't sleep well. Now, I want to stress a little bit about cancer, because in 2009, the World Cancer Association put shift workers as a cancer risk. Shift workers means that your sleep cycle is not regular, such as firemen, nurses, flight attendants, people who change their work shifts at times from that type of job. Because research shows that these people, these workers, shift workers, they have higher incidence of cancers, more than people who work at regular time. So they try to find the cause by doing many studies, and then they found that because of the sleep problems, that's the only factor that is different from the other group of population. So that's why they dig deep through the process, and they found that the cancer surveillance in your body, or the immune system, or the anti-cancer killing cells in your body, it will not work that well if you have a sleep disturbance in terms of not only the hours of sleep, but the timing of sleep. Okay. Recently, in 2019, to more than 1 year ago, the Cancer Association again reviewed the list of cancer risks, and then they just put this issue up again, that shift workers, should it still be on the list of cancer risk? And the answer is yes. From scientific evidence, they still confirm that shift workers, or in another term is that the poor sleep or impaired sleep cycle still have higher risk of cancer than other people do. Don't worry, it doesn't mean that everyone that do work shifts have to have cancer, but we can say that the risk is higher than normal population. That's all. You might have to do more thorough screening or more frequent screening of cancer than normal population. Okay. Now, when we talk about unhealthy sleep, what do we mean? There are two big groups. The first one is insomnia. More than half of the population in this whole world has experienced insomnia. That is difficulty of falling asleep or maintaining your whole night's sleep, which is a very, very common problem. Over 50% have some more or less of sleep problems. Some papers say 30%, some studies say around even 50% have some problems, but we count all, even very mild problems. So it's a very common condition. Another issue is circadian disturbance. Circadian means the day and night rhythm, the day-night rhythm of your 24 hours. Normal circadian rhythm is that you wake up and work at daytime and you fall asleep at nighttime. Usually we use the sunrise and sunset as a daytime. When we count it, it's daytime, right? When the sun goes down, it starts getting dark, so it starts to, you have to cool everything down and prepare to go to bed, to fall asleep, something like that. So when you have unhealthy sleep, it can be either you can't fall asleep easily, or can maintain your sleep as insomnia. And another group is that your circadian is disturbed. For example, the shift workers, when you shift work and work at night and sleep at daytime, when you shift back, there might be some problem when you, in the transitional period, when you, the first couple of days when you shift your timing again. Okay, or some people might have circadian disturbance as a habit, such as some people have, we call the night owl, right? You find it regular that you have to go to bed at 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Otherwise, you won't be able to fall asleep. And that's a kind of circadian disturbance. Now, again, we know that sometimes genetic factors might have some influence on that habit. I'll talk about that later as well. Here, we talk about shift workers, which I talked already, that shift workers has a number of problems. So if you are a shift worker and you have problems about cognition, about mood, about weight control, maybe you should see a physician to find a way out. Or finally, if it impacts your health really, really strong, you might have to talk to your boss that, okay, maybe you can still do some shift works, but maybe not changing the time too frequently, not to make your body get confused about the time on and off again and again. Okay, so I'm just showing you we've been talking about the circadian disturbance. The circadian is daytime. You can see this slide that our eyes, our brain has a perception to sunlight or daylight. So when there's a daylight coming into your retina here, in your eye cells here, where it tells the brain that, okay, it's daytime. When it's daytime, it suppresses some night hormones such as melatonin. I think you know melatonin, right? It's a night hormone. It comes out at night to make your brain feel that, know that it's nighttime and you need a rest, need to sleep. So the light, the daytime light, when we perceive it by our eyes, it tells the brain that, okay, you bring out the adrenaline, you bring out the steroids, all the things in your body that helps your body and brain cope with daytime stress or have activities, do those things. So the active hormones comes up and suppress the sleeping hormones. Now, after the sunset in the evening, okay, it tells you the opposite. Starts to tell the melatonin to come out and just slow down the active hormones to make your body and mind more peaceful. So this is a circadian rhythm, which is controlled by the perception of the sun or the light. This is one reason that why when you go to bed, it is recommended, highly recommended as a sleep. One of the sleep hygiene is turn off the lights. You can turn on some dim lights, some very, very dim lights, just in case you go up to the toilet in the middle of the night, not to trip on something, but not the main lights like this. because it would deceive your brain and think that it's still daytime. Okay, of course you know that it's nighttime, but it still blocks the secretion of melatonin, of the hormones that helps you sleep. So turning off the lights in your bedroom at nighttime before sleep is one of the top recommendations in the sleep hygiene topic, which I'm going to give you a summary at the end of this talk. Okay, so this is a circadian rhythm. Now, we'll talk about blue lights because this is another very popular issue. Many of my patients or audience ask about what is blue light, and is blue light really has to be blue? So can you change the lights of your mobile phone to orange or something to help you sleep better, or white or whatever? So the answer is blue light is in the white light also. When you see white lights everywhere at daytime, it consists of 7 colors. If you can recall when you study science as a kid, you know the rainbow colors, right? So you know that all of these 7 colors come together and make a white light that we see, the transparent light that we see right now. Now, why blue light is important? It's important because the blue that is included in the white light, that we can see that it's blue. We can see it in white. But we have a special cells in our eyes that can perceive each color. Now, blue light is the one that is most sensitive to our receptors in our eyes. So when the white light comes, we perceive blue light as the most quantity first. So blue light has most effect to our body. Now, what does blue light do? Why are we so scared of blue light? There are 2 things that blue light can cause. The first thing is if you expose it too much and at a very strong intensity all the time, it can cause some damage to the retina. Retina is the structure of the eye, behind your eyes that perceive vision, right? The second cause of blue light is that it makes your brain think that it's daytime. It stimulates your brain up. It triggers your brain. So that's why that we try to avoid using mobile phones at night, as this slide shows. Before going to bed, okay, you check your lines, your WhatsApp. I think it's a regular thing that most people do right now, which is not good at all, because when you see any screen, not just your mobile phone, even your laptop, you do it on bed, you reply emails at night, that's not good at all, because it activates your brain up again, and also the light from the screen that triggers your brain to tell you that, okay, you keep active. It's still time to do some work. It's daytime, something like that. So we talk about blue light because blue light is most sensitive, but it's included in the white light as well. I mean, not as well, but always in the white light because some people still think that, okay, this light is not blue, so it's fine. It's just normal light, so it doesn't affect your brain or your eyes. But it's not like that. It's included in the blue light, in the normal light. Okay. Actually, another little tip is that the second sensitive light that your eyes can perceive is the orange or green light, which actually the orange or green light makes your brain feel that it's nighttime or it's a rest time, makes you more relaxed. So if you want to put a dim light in your room, maybe orange or yellow orange should be a good option. Should be a good option for the dim light. But okay, not too bright, just dim. Okay, and the color is when you put on the orange light, it can compete with the blue light to go into your system. Okay. Now we've been talking about genes at first, so now we know about genes in sleep more than 20 years ago. In the past 10 years, there's a lot of knowledge about genetic influence on sleep. There are 3 groups of genes. The first one is natural short sleepers. This is quite rare. I mean, it's very rare, let's say. But if you have this gene, you might be lucky, because this gene, if you have it, you can sleep just maybe 4 hours a night. 3 or 4 or 5 hours a night without having any bad effect to your health. So this is a lucky gene, okay? But you cannot have it by a lucky draw today, right? I can't give you this gene. I don't have it as well. A second group of genes is we call the advanced sleep phase. Advanced sleep phase is if you have this gene, you will be sleepy very early. I mean, instead of falling asleep or feeling sleepy at 9 or 10 p.m., you might feel sleepy since 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. Okay, but you can wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, feeling very fresh. So that means that the hours are the same. You need 7-8 hours of sleep, but the phase is shifted from maybe 9 to 5 or 6 in the morning. It's shifted to be more early. So these people can have some little problems if you have to stay late at your office, or you have a party that night. They might cannot resist to falling asleep in the party, or even when driving back home at 6 o'clock, they might feel very sleepy. Okay, so for these people, they have to be careful about falling asleep during driving. Another problem with this group is that they wake up very early at 2 or 3 a.m. and they feel that it's morning already, and they don't feel sleepy anymore. But actually, this is not as a big problem because they can set some of their lifestyles like this. If this amount of sleep is enough for them, right? They can do, instead of bringing their work to do at night before going to bed, they can do it early morning like this before driving to their office, right? But just be careful about early evening that they can be sleepy. Now the last group of genes is the delayed sleep phase. This is opposite to the previous one. The cycle is shifted to the late sleep. It's the one that I mentioned earlier, that some people cannot feel sleepy until it's 2, 3 a.m. or 1, 2, 3 a.m. But these people still need normal hours of sleep. That means that they will be fine if they fall asleep at 2 or 3, but they wake up at 9 in the morning, which in daily life, in modern life right now, they can't do that, right? Because office hours starts at 8 or 9. So these people might struggle a bit because they will be sleepy and they will not sleep enough. When they fall asleep at 2 a.m., they have to wake up at 5 or 6. And then at daytime, they will feel groggy, tired, fatigued, not enough sleep. So, but all of these, I mean, the advanced phase syndrome or the delayed phase, there are some recommendations or treatments that might help them to be somehow better. If any of you think that you might have some of these problems, you can contact VitalLife, or if you have the lucky draw, you can see me anytime. Okay, you can make an appointment later. We can discuss about this. And we also now at VitalLife, Bumrungrad Hospital, we can do the genes. We can do all the 5 genes. I can boast a little bit that we do the most genes in any hospitals now about sleep. Most sleep clinics, they do 1 gene, 1 or 2 genes, but here we do 5 genes. So the chance of detecting something is more. You have a higher chance of detecting something. But overall, I have to tell you frankly that these genes are not common. It's not common at all. But if unfortunately you have it, then we might need to cope or adjust your daily life to cope with the genetic factor here. Okay. Now, sleep hygiene. This is actually the most important message that I would like to pass to all of you today, is that what should we do to make your sleep as healthy as possible? The first one is try to maintain a consistent sleep-wake time, to set your brain clock, your body clock, and not to wake up in the middle of the night, because this will help. I mean, your body will get used to it, your brain will get used to it. Now, how could we maintain that and set that? The first thing is, okay, we try to put a regular schedule on sleep. That's the first factor. The other factor that is going to help is that turn off the lights, which I mentioned already. When you turn off the light, the melatonin comes out more. So melatonin is a hormone that makes your brain realize that, okay, it's sleep time. Okay, but another very important thing is that in the morning, you should expose to daylight once you wake up. If you wake up and there's daylight already, this doesn't, I mean, if you wake up at 5, it's a bit difficult. It should be the room light. Room light is okay, quite okay. The frequency, the wavelength is not exactly as the sun or natural daylight, but it also works. So when you wake up and when you want to set a time in the morning, you go to exposed to light. If you wake up at, let's say, 6 o'clock in the morning, I think at that time the sun might come to rise up. You go to your window, open your curtains, and let your brain realize that this is morning already. This is a very good setting of your alarm clock, your natural alarm clock in your brain. So turn off the lights at bedtime and expose to sun once you wake up in the morning. Okay. Avoid heavy exercise or even do any works at nighttime before going to bed. Let's say in the final 2 hours, you should not do anything that activates your brain up, such as doing vigorous exercise at 8 or 9 p.m. Let's say you go to bed at 10, right? After 7 or 8 p.m., you should cool down everything. Maybe listen to light music, read some non-serious stuff, talk to your family, watch some light movies or something like that, but not bringing your laptop and planning for the next day work, open your clients' emails or something like that, or having conferences, webinar conferences at 8 p.m. Okay. I haven't told you another important point. I apologize. I'm just talking about the 7 hours sleep, right? But I haven't told you what time of going to bed is best for your circadian cycle, right? Actually, the best time is going to bed not later than 11. 10 or 10:30 would be perfect. 11 is fine. After 11 is not so good. After midnight is bad. Okay, so the perfect time of going to bed is around 10 to 11 and 7 hours sleep. So these are the key tips of healthy sleep. Okay. Now, the next tip is avoid caffeine in the afternoon. That means that after, let's say, 3 p.m., try to avoid coffee or tea. Tea has caffeine as well. Actually, this is not true in all patients. For example, me. Again, this depends on your genetic factors. Some people have genes that can eliminate coffee from your body very fast, such as me and my whole family. My family, when I drink coffee, I can fall asleep fine. I mean, it doesn't make me active at night. My family, my father, my mother, me, my sister, we drink coffee at bedtime, just like a bedtime chat with the family. And we can drink coffee and we can still fall asleep. But we can't tell that who's going to have this gene. Actually, it's quite a common gene as well. So some of you might experience something like me as well. In our genetic test, we can do this as well. We have many types of gene tests at Bumrungrad Hospital and VitalLife that we can see about these factors, about your lifestyle, about your food, what you should eat, what you should not eat, what your genes cannot, what type of food that your gene might not be able to use as well as other people, so you have to use something else, something like that, or something that you really lack, you need to take more of these kind of foods. So there are many panels of genes that influence our life and health at the moment. In the past decade, we know much more about genes. You can come and talk if you have time. Okay, this I've talked already. The next sleep hygiene is cooling down your brain function 2-3 hours before sleep. Daytime nap, this is another big issue. Is daytime nap necessary? Okay. Daytime nap actually can be done but is it necessary? Not really. You can do it. It helps. We call it power nap, right? Sometimes it makes you more fresher, especially people who didn't sleep well last night or has a lot of stress in the morning that the brain is so fatigued. They have a little nap early afternoon, that will be fine, but not too long. Should not be over 1 hour. Some people might say 1.5, but actually it is recommended 30 to 60 minutes of a daytime nap and not later than 3 p.m. Because if you sleep later than 3 p.m., it might affect your night sleep as well, especially if it's longer than 1 hour. Okay, so daytime nap is okay, and it's sometimes beneficial. Okay, but some doctors might say that it's not that necessary. So depends. Okay, this is another very important issue as well, that sometimes we didn't realize or we ignore it. That is setting a good environment for sleep, especially the temperature, the noise, no screen, the lights. Temperature is about, let's say you put down your air conditioner to about maybe 22 Celsius, 21, 22. This is, from studies, it shows that it's the best temperature to make your body peaceful and can have a good quality sleep. So it must be a bit cooler than normal, okay, but not freezing. Freezing you can sleep as well, right? And the noise as well, because except which we call the white noise, some like classic music, it has proved that it helps the brain and helps about sleep as well. But again, in real life, some people cannot sleep well with some music, even classic music. So you have to try by yourself and see whether it works or not. Some people, especially as, for example, myself, I play music. I have a band of my own since I was a medical student, and I play quite a lot. I play in pubs as well. So as a musician, when I listen to music, I listen to it carefully in terms of the instruments. So when I listen to classical music, I think that, okay, is it a violin or is it a viola, or when the next part of the music, would the tempo be something like that? So I'm a bit critical of these issues. So you have to see case by case about using music for sleep. But in most cases, it works well, but not heavy metal. Okay, that's too loud. Okay, this is the final slide. So there are new innovations and management for management of sleep, of poor sleep or sleep problems, which are not medication, not supplements, but it's about some instruments, some new innovations or psychological therapies. The first one, which is accepted worldwide, that is among the top list in treatment of insomnia or sleep problems, is a cognitive behavioral therapy. This is doing a therapy with a psychologist who's trained in CBT, in cognitive behavioral therapy for sleep. One session might be about 45 minutes, and maybe once or twice a week. Studies show that after about 6 to 8 sessions, the sleep is better. So this is one of the best treatment for sleep problems. Of course, if you have stress or if you have other problems that make you not sleep well, try to control or eliminate those causes first. But this one is another one. If you tried everything and it still doesn't work, cognitive behavioral therapy is one thing that we highly recommend. The second thing is sleep supplement. Actually, it's not a pharmacological, not sleeping pills, but they are supplements. Supplements for sleep, there are maybe 30, 40 types of supplements that claim that it helps about sleep. Actually, there might be top 10 that is most popular, but this differs in each person. But anyhow, sleep supplements somehow can make you more relaxed, can make you maybe sleep a bit better, and this depends. Each sleep center or each hospital might have some sets of sleep supplements, set A, set B, set C, because each patient is different. One set might have about 5 or 6 herbs or supplements included there, and then usually we prescribe these supplements and see for maybe 1 or 2 months. If it doesn't work, we can switch to another one. So this is another option of helping sleep without using sleeping pills. Ozone. This is another innovation. Ozone actually is in the air, but ozone that we talk about is, and ozone in the air, if you use it also for inhalation, it would be toxic. It would be harmful to your respiratory system, to your lungs, to your bronchus, to your cells in the lungs. So what we're talking about is ozone by blood transfusion. Ozone by blood transfusion, it doesn't make any contact with your respiratory system, so it won't do any harm there. Ozone is, the method is drawing your blood out and then mixed with ozone in a machine and then putting it back into your body. So it's your own blood. It's very safe. Ozone helps in many ways. It helps about immunity. Maybe you can see some advertisement in many hospitals that in the COVID situation right now, in the pandemic, we want to increase our immunity to fight with the COVID by our own body. There are many treatments or innovations for boosting up your immune system. Ozone is one of them. But also another benefit of ozone is that it makes you relax and makes you sleep well. And also more active at daytime, alert at daytime, sleepy at nighttime. So this is another good benefit of ozone. So okay, that's ozone. Now, this is a little device which you can find it anywhere in the internet. It's a direct current stimulation. You can, maybe some of you might try it already. You can see a lot of ads in the internet. It's a small machine. You use a small, just a 2A or 3A battery, and then there's a little wire, and you put it in your earlobe. Sometimes stick it here, or there are many things that it believes that when you transfer the direct current of this, it can remodulate your brain function, your brain cells about sleep or about depression. It is used in depression as well. But again, to be honest, it only works in some patients. And sometimes the problem is too big that just the direct current might be too, not as powerful enough to help. But anyway, it's another option. This is more strong and more evidence. It's a transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS. It's like you use some helmets that have electrodes and then put a magnetic field from your scalp here. And again, it tries to rewire or remodulate your brain function. It is used in many conditions. Again, in depression is most commonly used. Some people use it in migraine, and it can be used in sleep as well. So this is another new innovation that might add on to sleep treatment. Gut microbiome is very popular at the moment. You have bacteria in your intestines, right? There are good ones, bad ones. Now, from the environment, from pollutions, or from the food you take, or from medications, antibiotics, these factors can cause some imbalance of your good and bad bacteria in your intestines. So, and these, now we know that it can cause many health problems. For example, it might cause sleep problems, cognitive problems, or some people even link to a chance of having Parkinson's in the future. There's a word we call the gut-brain axis, that in the past we don't believe much in it, but right now there are many proofs, many studies that show that this should be real. This exists. A gut-brain axis is that some bacteria in your intestines, it produces too much toxins or bad stuff, or itself can leak into your blood flow here, and it can go to the brain, even if either it's toxin or itself, the bacteria itself, and cause some cognitive problems or other brain problems. So the new trend is to try to adjust your gut microbiome as best as possible. Some people do by using probiotics, taking probiotics. But if you want to be precise and if you aim for treatment of this, the gold standard or the best option is maybe you shake your stool to see which bacteria is in your intestines. And then we can customize the bacteria that you need to take it orally. Okay, customized by the one that you really lack, the one that you need, because when you take probiotics, it might help. In one probiotic, there are many brands of probiotics. Each has different numbers of strains of bacteria. Some have 1, 6, or 10. But in those 10, your body might not lack any of those, or may lack just 1 or 2 out of the 10. So the other 8 you take unnecessarily, and you lack other more that is out of these 10. So taking probiotics is okay. It's something that should be good for your intestines. But if you have an obvious problem that might relate to the gut microbiome, doing the test and then customize what you really need, what you really lack, that should be the best option. You can, if you want to talk more about gut microbiome, you can talk to, especially doctors at VitalLife, they're experts in gut microbiome. Dark light therapy is about just deceiving your brain a little bit. This is used in advanced and delayed phase sleep syndrome that I mentioned. For example, people who sleeps early, get sleepy at 6, as I mentioned, from the genetic part. When they get sleepy at 7, you use light to make them, the brain says that it's still daytime. Melatonin don't come out yet, it's still daytime. So that's a light therapy. And then for the advanced, for the late, delayed phase, you use a dark therapy. So keep it in a dark room early so they can fall asleep before 2 a.m., something like that. That's a theory. In real practice, there are more details in this. Okay? Mindfulness meditation, for sure. It's shown that if you can do mindfulness or meditation regularly, scientific research shows that it helps about the blood flow in certain parts of your brain, especially attention, decision-making, and emotion. So if you're interested in doing these mindfulness and meditation, you can go further through information. Okay, I think that should be all. One question.
Thank you, Dr. Ketchai. So now we start with the prize. Thank you a lot for the extensive presentation. And as I mentioned before, we have 2, let's say, lucky draw prize. And there are, just to involve also the audience of today, as you probably know, we mentioned before, it will be like 2 free consultation with Dr. Ketchai.
Sure.
And let's say to find out the winners, the first prize will be basically providing 2 sleep hygiene methods mentioned before. If you like to take the word, or you can just add it in the chat. So the first prize will be given to the one able to provide, as an example, 2 sleep hygiene method.
Okay. Okay, so any of the audience would answer this? Please provide 2 of the sleep hygienes that I mentioned, please.
Maybe we can.
I'll go. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yes. So go to bed at the regular time, and during the day, no long nap.
Okay, very good. That's the first one. The second,
So,
number
okay.
2.
Yes. What's the number 2?
Number 2 of the sleep hygiene. Could you mention another tip of sleep hygiene that I just told you, that I just lectured?
Yes. Without turn off no heavy exercise in the evening.
Very good. Congratulations. Very good. So you got this.
So we have a
consultation.
First winner is Miss May Wang, right? Am I say correctly?
Yes.
Okay, please put on her name.
Okay. Miss May Wang, my team will contact you, and we'll put you in touch with the team of Bumrungrad.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining, and also for the second lucky draw prize, and it's still like a free consultation with Dr. Ketchai. This one might be easier but trickier. So how many hours is the recommended sleep duration for adults? If anybody can reply to this, will be
7 hours.
Oh, wow, great. You're not asleep. Very good. So,
and can I ask you your name? You are Kun Sirera.
Yes, yes, Sirirat. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Congratulations. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
And also,
consider that, can we know which company you are from or some information?
From Mahidol University.
Yes.
Mahidol University. Can you drop us also later on your email so we can put you in contact with the team of Bumrungrad?
Yeah, I'll drop that on the chat box there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think the lucky draw is done, right, sir? So I can.
The lucky draw is done.
Okay,
if you, Dr. Ketchai, if you still have some more minutes, I will leave some of the attendees to ask you maybe direct question from the chat also. I
have some questions here already. Yeah, our team has brought up some questions from the audience. So the first one is, if we wake up in the night, does it affect the quality of our sleep? Definitely, yes. But if it's very short, that's okay. So we accept that if you wake up in the middle of the night, for example, going to the toilet, right? If you can fall asleep again within 15 minutes, that's okay. If you wake up twice or 3 times, if you have diabetes or you have prostate problems, but once you fall asleep again, that's quite okay. But if you wake up and you cannot fall asleep again, that definitely affects your quality of sleep. Okay. So the second question is position of sleep inside of the room. North or near window? Is that a bit superstitious? Okay, the position actually, I mean, in medicine, it should not affect, I mean, north or south, but one thing that might help. Okay. So one thing that might help is that if you sleep near to the window, that should help in the morning, because when you wake up, you can draw the curtain right away just beside you, and then the daylight will come in and set your brain up in the morning at the same time, right? Because if you sleep in the other end of the room and the curtain is far away, sometimes when you wake up, you want to lay down further. You don't want to go and walk to the curtain, something like that. So the position might help indirectly, but doesn't have any direct effects. Actually, there were many research about sleep positioning, about environment, about type of light, many details about sleep, even the north or west or something, because they believe that the magnetic field, the world magnetic field might have some effect, but the studies show that there's no such effect.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We have time for another question?
From me and from MJ.
Oh, okay. A VIP question. Okay, I'll read the question out again. ITCC, this one, right? Would like to organize an event. Music by me, by my band, right? And the gang. Okay, where will it be possible? When will it be possible? So this is a question from Kun Pantip, our team. Maybe you can give an MJ. Okay. Well, as I mentioned, I have a band. I have a doctor band. We've been playing since we were medical students, and we're still playing now. So if you're interested, we can do that for you.
So how long to inform you in advance?
You mean me?
Yes.
Okay, maybe we have to maybe at least a month. Yeah, so I can set with my members.
Okay.
We're happy doctors. Don't worry. We're not going to the stage playing music and give you lectures all the time. No. Okay. Another question?
And
okay.
From our side, let's say, Dr. Ketchai, we know that Bumrungrad recently celebrated its anniversary of providing quality healthcare in Thailand. And how many years was Bumrungrad involved in this celebration? For how long?
40 years. Yeah, we just reached 40 years of Bumrungrad. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. For VitalLife brain, the wellness center that is under Bumrungrad is 19 years, going up to the 20th years as well. We're the first wellness center in Thailand, the VitalLife Wellness Scientific Center. Okay, there's a last question. May I complete this question, please? What about the use of mobile phone before going to sleep and once wake up? As I mentioned, it's not good at all. I mean, the final answer, using mobile phone in bed, because two things. The first thing is the light that I mentioned. It makes, especially the light from the mobile phone is very close to your eyes. So if you use it regularly, it can also, in long term, it can cause some damage to your retina, your eye cells. And plus that it makes your brain think that it's daytime. So it makes your brain active and your sleep quality would be poor. That's the first cause. The second cause is a kind of activity. When you focus on something, that means that your brain is triggered up to be active again before falling asleep. So you might feel that you can fall asleep, but it's a poor quality sleep, because you might fall asleep because the tiredness of your body, that you've been working all day long and then you have to focus on your mobile phone again at bedtime. So your body gets tired and it falls asleep. But while your body is asleep, your brain is activated up again. So that's why people who use mobile phones like this, use mobile phones before going to bed, when they wake up, even they can fall asleep, but when they wake up, they feel tired. They feel that almost like they haven't slept at all, even they sleep all night long, because it's a poor quality sleep. Some even may wake up in the middle of the night many times, or some might have dreams or bad dreams, nightmares, because their brain is still active while they're falling asleep. So using your mobile phone, as I mentioned, 1 or 2 hours before going to bed, you should not use it, except for listening to light music, that's okay, but not focusing on chats or on websites, or doing your work.
Okay, very well. I have a question, Dr. Ketchai, if you still have a few minutes.
Please.
And I would like to ask you, I saw on some article that they wrote basically, like in the past, probably Victorian age, people was not accustomed to sleep all night long, maybe for 8 hours, because they didn't have electricity. So they thought that probably in the past, the people used to go to bed for a few hours, maybe 3-4 hours, and then wake up around midnight, do some chores, and then go to sleep again later on, like interrupting what we think is a nice sleep for us. And also similar articles, but let's say in the modern age, I saw that in some article, usually like on American media, they said that it's possible actually to do kind of short time nap all over the 24 hours of a day and still be proactive in your work. Is it actually true that you can sleep maybe 3 hours per day by taking small naps?
Okay.
Be available? What do you think about it?
Thank you. This is a very, very important and interesting point. Actually, if we talk about the total hours of 3, okay, definitely that's not enough. But okay, it's small fragments that you've asked, right? There's a history of mankind in sleep since the old age, the Stone Age, that people have to hunt and stay awake, be aware of other animals to kill humans. So at that time, the sleep was quite fragmented, especially at night time that animals come out and hunt. Some people have to stay awake. And there was a period that we call the biphasic sleep. So we sleep 2 times a day because some hunting reasons like that. Because actually, if we have time, I will be happy to talk about the history of sleep because it's very fascinating. Now, even in Italy, there was a town in Italy that I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, my brain is blocked. I didn't have a good sleep last night. They still close shops at 1 a.m. because of the 1 p.m. Sorry, and they open again in the evening because maybe because of the heat. It's very hot at that area around the Mediterranean, and so people around that area is doing this type of sleep. And you know what? There's medical studies, scientific studies that they show that people doing that have lesser heart attacks or heart diseases, and they have better health. They live longer after eliminating the factors of food, of emotion, or whatever. So there's still evidence that sleeping 2 times a day is still working. Now, the reason that why we're talking about a whole night's sleep at 8 o'clock is because the modern society at present, that the wake-up time, the working hours are like this. So actually, our body, our genes, our brain adapt through our generations, right? There was a time that before there was electricity, when people have to mainly use daylight. That may be before Edison, right? Edison found the if I'm right, the light bulb, right? So before that, we still have to put on lighting up fires and use the fires that we light up or use the sun. So at that time, the sleep cycle is not like nowadays. And also people at that time, sometimes they are more healthier, live longer at some groups that do that strictly. So actually, the history of sleep has changed quite a lot, but that is due to the daily life that's in the society right now. So what we can do right now is to make the best health from sleep that matches well with the daily life, daily society nowadays. But if we want to go back to the biphasic or sleeping 2 times a day or having small naps, that is still possible. That the research has shown right now that the difference is not that much. So we prefer to do a one-phase sleep. Okay, some little naps in the afternoon, but not 2 main long sleeps a day, because it doesn't match with our daily life nowadays. So that's why that's a very good question, because that is very true, that our sleep cycle from ancient times to now has changed.
Okay, thank you very much for the extensive answer. And I would like to leave also to the participant to drop in the chat some more question. Okay. And in the meantime, I would like to thank you a lot, Dr. Ketchai, for your time. And actually, as you said, the sleep and the history of sleep might be very, very interesting to develop in some further article. Probably, let's say, if you are available, we will host some article regarding your presentation on our business magazine Informa. Of course, if you are available to do that, we will send you some requests.
Okay, no problem. And if you have any questions, you can put it here, and I'll try to reply back by the chat like this as soon as possible. Okay. And thank you for having me here. Great fun talking to all of you.
Thank you for your time. Absolutely useful for us, for our companies and the people joining. And also, we would like to thank again Bumrungrad for helping us to create this webinar, VitalLife, and I would like to thank also Serv, the sponsor for today.
Okay.
And
you're very. Sorry.
No.
You're very welcome, and I thank you again for having me here. And next time, if you want other topics, please let us know, so we can arrange this again anytime, as your and our convenience. We are convenient usually. We are always convenient.
Absolutely. No, thank you very much. It's always very interesting to cooperate with Bumrungrad. Okay. And let's say I don't see any other question in the chat, but I would like just to remind that the participant that the registration of this webinar will be available soon also on the YouTube channel, and also the team of Bumrungrad will be we will make it available. And
Yes,
from our
yes.
side, I would like to thank again everyone for attending, and also every participant at the moment. And of course, if you need us, you can either way contact the Italian Chamber of Commerce to find more information about Bumrungrad, VitalLife, and Pure Serv. And again, thank you a lot, Dr. Ketchai, also for your time today.
You're very welcome. Thank you too. Bye. See you next time.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you a lot.
Bye. Have a good evening. Bye.
Good evening.
Have a good sleep.